Okay, today on the Casades Dams podcast, humongous graphics card has been baking, Apple AirPods Studio, bear in Tennessee cabin, Canon R6, wrong about iPhone 12, and more. To start it off, the CEO of nVIDIA, Jensen Huang, baked up a humongous graphics card. Huang pulled out what he called, quote, the world's largest graphics card from his oven in the announcement video. And you can tell that it's quite heavy. The thing is, it's an announcement for the new Ampere GPU architecture. Yep, the Turing architecture is already being replaced. The Apple AirPods Studio are arriving later this year, although they are not earpods, which are, of course, Apple's name for earbuds, and I think they are also commonly referred to as earpods in the UK, but I'm not from the UK, so don't quote me on that. And most definitely not studio headphones, because they're Bluetooth-based, and Bluetooth does kill the studio qualities. They are upgrading ear detection to something along the lines of head-neck detection, playing content when they're on your head, pausing when they're on your neck, and possibly even shutting down when they're removed from your neck. It also detects which ear is which, as in two-way headphones. You know, headphones like this, they're normally one-way, although because I do always have my audio set to mono, it really does not make a difference. It can be either noise-canceling or transparent, because it has the modes for both. A bear broke into a cabin in Tennessee and ended up stealing snacks and beer. Now, there were 3 other bears on the porch. While they were ravaging the cabin, they knocked over things. They destroyed a couple of decks of cards, and they scratched stuff up. Among the things they stole were 5 pounds of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, 1 pound of M&Ms, 2 pounds of Sour Patch Kids, and other things. The Canon R6 mirrorless camera has taken its first step towards a release. The more affordable sibling to the R5 mirrorless camera now has an official certification. A radio certification of model number DS126831, which is very close to R5's model number, has been spotted. It's supposed to use the same battery, and it's supposed to use Bluetooth 4.2 instead of Bluetooth 5. Now, the reason why people are excited for the R6 is because the R5 is expected to be approximately $3,500 in the US, or apparently 3,500 pounds in the UK. We were actually wrong about the iPhone 12. It's actually going to be much smaller than we had anticipated. The 5.4-inch model will be 5.15 inches by 2.51 inches, or 131 by 64 millimeters, with a 39:18, erroneously referred to as 19.5:9, aspect ratio. Ugh. For the sake of comparison, the 4-inch iPhone SE from 2016 was 4.84 by 2.28 inches, or 123 by 58 millimeters, with a 16:9 aspect ratio, and the 4.7-inch iPhone SE2 coming this year will be 5.43 by 2.65 inches, or 138 by 67 millimeters. It's actually going to be compact and bezel-less. I'm not a fan of the wider than 16:9 aspect ratio, and not a fan of bezel-less displays. The thing about the bezel-less displays is that they cannot have any rounded corners in order for me to like them, and that is never the case. The wider aspect ratio will either have unused area or too little usable area in landscape for most things. However, a plus is that the base storage will be 128 gigabytes and not 64. Honestly, due to the lack of expandability of storage, 64 is not enough for an iPhone. The Pro model will have 512 gigabytes of max storage and 6 gigabytes of RAM, whereas standard models will have 256 gigabytes of maximum storage space and 4 gigabytes of RAM. I'd assume it would be low power dual data rate synchronous dynamic random access memory. For you electric guitar enthusiasts and electric guitar players, Gibson's modern collection Les Paul Special Tribute has released. Its body is made of mahogany, its neck is made of maple wood, and its fingerboard is made out of rosewood. The pickups are available in either dual P90 or 490R and 490T humbucking open coil magnetic pickups. It is available in 4 colors: worn white, vintage cherry, ebony, and natural walnut. And of course, it's priced at $999, which is roughly $1,000. So not something that beginners will want, although it is cheaper than quite a lot of advanced electric guitars. Some bad news in the laptop area. Alienware Area 51M's plan for future-proof upgradability has crashed and burned, like I would have expected had I knew about it. The new R2 laptop sports 10th generation Intel CPUs, new unspecified nVIDIA GPUs, new faster RAM, and improved displays. However, unfortunately, those are all incompatible with the old model. The thing about the Area 51M laptops is that user-replaceable parts made them popular. Most modern laptops have permanently installed components that you cannot replace.
Advice from Kiss Hades Stamps.
Okay, it is now time for advice from Kiss Hades Stamps. There are cheaper options than Philips Hues or other multicolor light bulbs for having colored background lighting like I'm doing. It will be static color though. You know, for static colored background lighting, you can just use colored bulbs, which will still save you money. The only point I really see for those multicolored bulbs is to have color-changing backgrounds. Cheaper options than Elgato key light for face lighting also exist. For example, my newer ZC10S lights, which are just LED panels with a diffuser, although the diffuser does just go right in front of the lights. My newer ZC10S lights do work fine for me, although their diffuser panel does go literally right in front of the lights. It does not create the softest shadows in the world, but I've never had a problem with that. If you do have a problem with it though, cheaper soft boxes work fine for many people. And third and final thing on advice from Casades Stamps also relates to lighting. Turning off the room lights can separate you from your background. I will say though that you should not leave them off for too long, because there will be quite a huge contrast between your monitors and the room lighting, which I've heard is not good for your eyes. Now, speaking of which, do not leave your monitor at extreme brightness, contrast, and or gamma, ever, regardless of whether or not the room lighting's on. Unless you're watching something really dark. But don't leave it there. Set it back when you're done. This is YouTuber's Personal.
That's YouTuber's Personal, everyone.
And welcome to YouTuber's Personal. Our worst nightmare is a power outage. A lot of us YouTubers tend to use desktops with insufficient battery. Basically, what it is just a button cell to save the time in case of a power failure. A power option, pun intended, is a battery backup. We actually used to have one, but sadly it died. However, that will only give the computer a chance to shut down. It will not keep it running for hours on end. Also, the router is dead without any power. And computers also don't like sudden power loss. And we actually have a two-parter today. Webcams do cause us frustration, specifically the Logitech webcams, because their drivers are from 2012. October 25th of 2012, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they're old. And they actually cause blue screens of death.
Personal segment. This is it.
Now on to the personal segment. I decided to turn the room light off in pretty much the middle of the episode last week. The thing is, I've heard that it separates you from the background, and it really does. Another thing that separates you from the background is shallow depth of field. If you have a camera that supports interchangeable lenses, you could do both and create the ultimate separation. I put a couple of old colored CFLs in lamps out of, well, a bit more than just out of frame of the video. Also, I fixed my mom's lamp, but I managed to miss turning it on last week. Speaking of which, the lamp is now turned on. Also, I am back on the E835. However, because I got the BP40, I will be switching to it next week before testing out the WM333. It is a wireless microphone, actually. Actually, it is a set that comes with 2 microphones as well as a receiver. That is kind of essential. I did have to split Keener's Craft Episode 8 up. It ended up being too long, and to be honest, my computer wouldn't have been able to handle rendering the entire thing. Also, you may have noticed that I got new headphones. They're the Sennheiser HD280 Pros. The old models apparently are super uncomfortable. Well, the new ones, they did not lie when they said that the new ones are actually super comfortable. They are a lot more comfortable than you'd expect, considering clampage. And I do quite like the tone of them. When monitoring, it gives my voice quite a flattering tone that makes me happy. And also, when just listening to things, it sounds quite good. We had a few extended blips in power, one of them probably for a full second, and one when I was sleeping, probably about 3 to 5 seconds. The first one we were assuming was a squirrel, as it was not windy. Also, one of our trees needed removed. It had actually rotted almost completely through. We are quite lucky that it hadn't fallen. We removed the tree/weed in our garden, or Dad did. He cut it down and applied stump killer, which actually killed the sprouts. And we also removed other weeds. And after the weeds were removed, and partially because of that and partially because of light, I made a removable panel for the window, because after the weeds were removed, the sun is very annoying in the evening, and it allows me to not have to adjust the camera settings as often. I will say it's not perfect, but it works for what I need it. And now on to what I've been testing. The Audio-Technica BP40, the Samson MBA38, as well as the Rycote InVision USM universal shock mount, and old colored lights. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for. I really do hope you've enjoyed. If you did, then please do hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But anyways, this has been Casady Stamps. Cheers for watching, and I will see you later. Bye!